Hi, everybody. My name is Allison Wade. I'm the president of Techwell, and I'm here with Noel Wurst, the quality evangelist at SmartBear. Hey, Noel, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
Good.
So give me some insight. Tell me what's going on at SmartBear.
Yeah, so SmartBear Connect, our annual user conference, wrapped up like 24 hours ago. It was this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It was virtual this year as it was last year. It was spread across 3 days, 3 half days of learning about what's coming up new in SmartBear's products, our views on the industry as a whole. We had some guest speakers that were great that came in and offered a lot of kind of learning as well. So we just wrapped that up, and now it's taking a breath and kind of moving on. So that's been the main thing. The last big news we had before that was we made an acquisition earlier this year of Bugsnag, monitoring and application stability platform. And so bringing that team all in and starting to work with them more and more and welcome them to the SmartBear family and portfolio. And then the other new thing that's coming up is our state of software quality reports. We put out a number of research reports every year. One's around testing, one's around APIs, one's around code quality, and then I think we're going to have one on test management next year as well. And so the very first one of those drops next week. That's the one focused on testing. And then the state of software quality API comes out, I think, the following week. So lots going on.
Excellent. So where are you getting that data from as a point of interest, the state of software quality that's coming from your users, from the communities? Where is it coming from?
Yeah, a mix of everybody. It certainly goes out to the SmartBear community. Oh, which to give a nod to them, just hit their 100,000th member a couple of weeks ago. That was a big milestone for them. So we certainly celebrated that.
That's amazing.
That was cool. Excellent. And so we, the community, SmartBear's user base, and then we, of course, invite other people in the industry and put ads out and industry publications and social media and everywhere else. We really like a nice mix of that. And it is a big mix. It's a mix between manual testers, automation engineers, quality engineers, developers, product owners, business analysts. It's a nice mix across all of those reports.
That's amazing. That's a good lot of data to have in those reports and for people to see. That's really cool. So what did you and the SmartBear team observe over the last year?
So, everyone observed a lot of change, obviously. At the end of 2020, we kind of wanted to give ourselves a charter, not a company mission or anything, but just something to kind of go after and to really target a lot of our messaging around. And we kind of had this idea that every company is now an e-commerce company. And what we mean by that is that e-commerce, not too terribly long ago, was viewed if you had a online payment portal on your website, if someone could purchase something from your website. But then we started really getting kind of nerding out on the definition of e-commerce, which was a lot of fun for me as an English major, and kind of determined that e-commerce is any transaction that occurs online or occurs digitally. That can be, everything from email to handing your test results to another team, to sharing any other information, uploading anything that's accessed by someone else. It's any transaction that occurs between any two people, any two teams, any two systems. All of these things generate e-commerce when you are able to speed those things up, make those transactions robust and scalable and frictionless, and removing bottlenecks to where information, money, data, whatever it is transferring smoothly and quickly between teams who need those things very quickly. And so by kind of giving ourselves that charter of every company is now an e-commerce company, it gave us really a year to spend time not convincing the industry of the truth of that. I think that was actually done pretty quickly. We then moved into kind of talking about, if you are an organization or at an organization who has this realization of, okay, yes, we need to start thinking about ourselves as an e-commerce company. What do we need to do to be successful in that? How do e-commerce companies think and operate? And there's a lot that the traditional e-commerce companies of the world had been doing for a long time that a number of companies who did not view themselves that way were able to kind of learn from and adopt and bring into their organizations.
Awesome. And so anything else that you guys observed over the last year?
So that really, what that did was, when you had those companies who said, okay, yes, we need to start thinking about e-commerce in this way and the importance of all of these transactions, not just a closed deal, no matter how large it was at the end of a quarter, at the end of the year, but to really look for this constant optimization of every single transaction and handoff, was that it really put a lot of pressure on development teams. As everything continues to be automated, shifted towards development. Developers are also pretty busy people. They've already got quite a lot on their plate. And as you identify new opportunities for less handoffs or for developers to do more testing, whatever the case may be, it's all still added work for them. It's also added responsibility. And there's a need to really measure at what point have you given them so much additional stuff to own or be responsible for that it then slows down the innovation that they were able to focus on more kind of exclusively before that. So SmartBear has a very wide portfolio of solutions used by developers, testers, business analysts, like all those roles that I just described earlier for our results. And so one of the things we want to make sure we do is that our development tools, equally benefit developers just as much as the testing tools that we either have acquired recently or have had for a long period of time, so that no team is feeling like, okay, I get that we need to start doing these things, but don't you see the impact that's having on me as more of that's being on my plate? We're still trying to make sure every one of those roles feels empowered to do their job.
Awesome. So do you or SmartBear have any 2022 predictions? And what's 2022 going to be like for us, do you think?
Yeah, so kind of like at the end of 2019, we decided to think about every company as an e-commerce company this year. And we just had this at SmartBear Connect, like I said, that just ended. The theme for that conference this year was Shift Up, which, started off as just, that'll be a fun thing to call a conference. And then we quickly started thinking about like, no, there is a need to shift up. And what we mean by that is to shift quality, not just testing or just development or just releases or just IT, but to shift quality up. And that means to more teams. It means to the leadership level and management or even the board, and to get more people understanding the importance of quality and the ROI of investing in quality, not just the cost. Testing has been seen as a cost center, quality's been seen, or testing's been seen as a bottleneck. And we don't really want to associate quality with those things. At the same time, we don't really want testing to be viewed as a bottleneck or a roadblock either. But just really getting quality more top of mind, because it's kind of impossible to not care about quality. And I think that in the past, people may have thought, well, sure, I care about it, but what I do is this totally different thing that has nothing to do with the quality of our software. And that's rarely true. I mean, I'm in marketing and have the ability to impact the quality of our software, maybe not as much as the testers running all the thousands of tests against that every day, but in a lot of ways that hadn't really been thought of before as being part of one team's job. It's really everybody's job. And so as we started to think about, okay, well, once we shift quality up, what does that mean? What does that require? Just like starting to think about yourself as an e-commerce company. And once you shift quality up, it made me think of that meme that's been around forever that says when everyone owns quality, no one owns quality. And that may have been funny or cute or true at one time, but it really can't be any of those things anymore. It needs to be the exact opposite. Like everyone does have to own quality. The developers cannot own it on their own. I mean, you can be a confident developer and feel like you can, but it won't be able to be scaled as much as it will be if it's not just you. And the same goes for testers, and the same goes for IT or for any other department. It's everyone does have to own it, and you may contribute to it in different ways, or I should say you will contribute to it in different ways, but it needs to be owned by everybody. And so now again, we're starting to think about, okay, you get people to agree with that. How do you make it happen? How do you make that doable? Because it's a large thing to ask and to deliver.
Well, anything else you want to let us know about SmartBear? Anything else that's going on? And is there how can people get a hold of you? How can people get a hold of SmartBear? How can they join the community?
Yeah, we're all over the place. I mean, everything is accessible from smartbear.com. I don't know that I'll be able to get everyone to remember all these, URLs, but in regards to Connect, that was a great opportunity for us to really showcase a lot. And we've done that now. The whole conference, it just, like I said, it ended 24 hours ago. And it's already available all on demand. You can just go to smartbear.com/connect, and it's broken up by role. And you can go in there, the keynotes are there, and you can go in and see what all we had there this week. And again, at smartbear.com, you can go check out our resources where there's things like that state of software quality testing report and API report soon. It's a great place to find out kind of what's coming up next. Twitter, social media, all of the common places. There's a lot of us who are out and about talking to folks like you and Techwell to kind of get our story out there.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining me today, Noel. I really appreciate it, and
Always.
hope you have a great day and enjoy the conference. And you're giving a talk at this conference too, right?
Oh, that's right. I didn't even mention that. We're actually giving two. Yeah, so I'm giving a talk. They're all about kind of looking off of the traditional paths to quality that
Uh-huh.
testers can do to really kind of encourage people to understand their need to kind of wander off and explore other parts
Hmm.
of the application or your software. And then we also have two of our folks here, Phil Vulgaris and Jenny Lowenthal, are going to be diving into that state of software testing quality or state of software quality testing report that I just mentioned. It will have just come
Oh,
out
excellent.
about a week or so prior, and they're going to dive into some of those key insights and the things that were interesting to them. So both of those will be great. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to plug those.
No worries. It'd be great to have those talks. Thanks for being here, and thanks for speaking at the conference.
Thanks so much.
Take care, Noel.